Welcome back to our energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. And this is the overview of the collective energies and how they affect you for this next week, April 27th till May 3rd, 2019. And my name is Jona Brindis. I'm a professional energy healer and energy trainer. And we're going to be looking at what is coming in here, reflecting on how it's making you feel. And because it's so difficult to talk about these things, I'm doing this live because I want you guys to be there for another. So please take this as an opportunity to share, to let us know what works for you, and also maybe how you're seeing things, and also for asking questions. So as you've noticed here at transCODES, I have been scrambling a bit to catch up with things because there's so much going on, and whenever there's a lot going on in the collective, meaning politically, worldwide, planetary, and so forth, it's normal that we get into this place of upheaval internally, and we either get anxious, or we get confused, or we get just sort of frazzled. And so I have a lot to do in those times because people are wanting my services, the energy coaching, and also the energy awareness that I teach. And so it takes me a while sometimes to edit these videos that I do for you. So I just sent out the energy tips from last week, and I want those of you who know the value of them to watch the energy tips from week 17. I decided to make them public, even though I record them for the heart warriors. Those are the people that work with me directly, and the Patreon supporters. I want you to watch this because this is really, really important in times like this. So you see we have an energy barometer here that's just a subjective reflection on how those collective energies feel for us. So the redder it is, the more dense it feels, the more difficult it is for us to wiggle our way through. Okay, so I can't, of course, make promises, but I have looked into the May energies already with our energetic tune-up. Those are people who come and want to send the energies for the next month through their own energy field to see what they need to watch out for, what they need to work with. And it's visible there that May is actually going to bring in a lot of new hope, a lot of new energy, a lot of new creativity for you guys. So I can't promise that this is the last red week, but let's look at this from the larger perspective once more, and also what this can provide to us here. Okay, the deeper meaning of all this. Why do we have to go through all this like stress and stuff, the headaches and the heartaches and all this planetary stuff that is going on? Now, you know this about me. I don't offer this hold hands and sing Kumbaya type of love and light will heal it all, although the message that I'm sending is love and light will heal it all, just in a different way, in a little more sophisticated way, because it requires us to learn the deeper dynamics and mechanics that are taking place within ourselves, especially if we are empaths, if we are energetically sensitives. It's not enough to just go by the things that we how they make us feel, and then to externalize it all and I say, oh, it's all just collective energies, or it's my mother's fault or my husband's fault. Those things aren't very sophisticated. They bind us to our ego's duality, and I talked a lot about this in the energy update from last week and the energy tips. That's why I want you to watch this, because there's some keys in there for you, a roadmap for navigating through this time right now. What is it that is coming in here? What is it that we need to look at? Well, we need to look at our own shit magnets, as I call them. Those are the things that keep pulling us into our karmic setup. All right, and it's kind of like we have to take it all apart. We have to deconstruct it all, even if it's forced, even if it's painful. Just like Notre Dame has to burn down, okay, to reconstruct, to rebuild. So we have to take the pieces apart, look at them, acknowledge them. We don't have to agree with them or judge them. We just have to see them and say, okay, this is my stuff, all right? And those are the cards that I was dealt with. And now the reconstruction, the rebuilding starts. Now I'm telling you, even if you just have to take my say-so for it, you have the choice to determine your karma. You have the choice to out-vibrate, these things that you were set up with, your trauma load, your karmic load. That's what I explain in the energy tips for week 17. That's why I want you to watch this. You have a choice, but you have to make every choice consciously, and not taking a choice, not making a choice, indecision, wavering, trying to find the one right solution. That binds you to your ego, that binds you to your addictions, to your coping, to your anxiety, and to your depression. So it's recognizing that we actually have a choice. That's our spiritual power. That's our spiritual freedom. And in order to do this, we have to be able to feel this relationship with inner higher power, source, divine, whatever you want to call this, firsthand. We can't just take the say-so. You can take the say-so from me that you have a choice. And I know your ego will rebel because it says, oh, how could I have a choice with all the suffering and all the stuff that, my parents, blah, my childhood. I know. But you still have a choice. And that's the point. That's the point of this week, to get that. All right? And there's no secrets to this. It's not mystical. You just got to look at it. You got to acknowledge, and you got to be okay with not always having the perfect solution, not always feeling, oh, this is so, I bet this means I'm supposed to do this. No, this is all externalization, guys. You got to stop that. You don't need to look for signs. You just need to look within. You need to look deeper within. I see you guys. So good to have you, and thank you for your hearts. Now, I called this week's energy report, if you will, keep it simple. And I'm going to try to do my best to do the same here for you. I'm going to try to keep this simple. First, I want to ask you guys, how did this forced release that I talked about last week go for you? Were you guys able to let go of things? Were you guys able to read through this, oh, I don't know what to do, I'm screwed either way, I don't agree with, what you say, or, you don't want to hear what I have to say, and I'm right, or you're wrong, those kind of things internally, physically, I need to do this, I got to get better at this, I got to go to the gym, I got to eat better, blah, blah, blah. And then end up not doing any of it because you just get exhausted in the process of getting caught in your own duality. How did that go for you guys? Were you able to let some of that go? And tune into what is right for you? See, the thing was, why I stressed this so much the last couple of weeks was because your immune system gets really compromised when you stay in that place for a prolonged amount of time. And as an energetically sensitive, as an empath, you can't afford that. I'm not just talking about your physical immune system, but many of you will feel this. You have like this infection, inflammation stuff going on. It's not coming out right. Maybe a sinusitis again, or maybe some throat issues again, or whatever it is. That where your personal weak spot is. We all have personal weak spots where we can tell through the feedback that our body gives us which part of our energy body is compromised at a certain time. And there's something like an etheric immune system that we have. So there's not just a physical immune system, okay? Once it shows in our physical immune system, that already means that it's, your energy is off balance. You're not grounded enough. You're not centered enough. Hey, Annette, you caught a red flag and you let it go. Wonderful. So this is cool. When you get into this place where you begin to see things coming on before they latch on. This is the whole point of energy training. This is the whole point of these energy updates, guys. For you to get a little bit of a heads up, for you to be able to contextualize things better and to see your own part in this. All right, so don't get caught in your misery, and then get caught in the fear, the anxiety, the depression, your coping, your addictions as a result of it. No, Slow down, guys. Watch. Pay attention. Watch where your own energy goes with it. And ask yourself if this is what you truly want, how you truly feel, if this really represents who you truly are. And if it isn't, or, something that is coming in this next week has to do with your true values. Does this represent my true values? Is this according to my inner integrity? Because if not, you're compromising your system. And don't try to find the solution in the perfect or in the ought to or how things are supposed to be. If you go by that directive, you're going to end up with your karma. You're going to end up with the stuff that you've been predisposed to do. You're going to end up in your karmic wheel, personally and collectively. And so it's very important, like Annette shared here on Facebook, to catch those and just let them go. And how can we do this? Hey, friends, I see you. How can we do this? Well, one of the tricks here, and this is not like a secret, but one of the tricks that we learn through energy work is to slow down time. And how do you slow down time? Well, you may think that time is objective and that it's linear, but through deeper inner work, we realize that that's actually not the case. Have you guys experienced this, where the last 2 weeks was like pretty much like running around like a chicken with a cut off head and fire routing and just trying to catch up with things. And that's when things appear to go so fast that you don't feel like you can be in control, and it makes you anxious, and frustrated. But there's also times when things go really, really slow and you're like, oh, wow, this is only half an hour, or, oh, I have 15 minutes left. I thought I was already, done or whatever. We call this fat time. So fat time is an energy work modality that can be learned. And of course, these things that you see, propagated here through a lot of other disciplines and people, such as meditation, such as auto-suggestive training, such as, yoga and so forth. Those are all facilitators, deep breathing, tapping and so forth. Those are all facilitators to slow down time. And why do we need to slow down time? Because, see, the way our signal processing works is that our emotions aren't really what cause anything. Our emotions are the consequence of what our energy system and our 5 senses, what they perceive, how our brain interprets it, and as a consequence of this interpretation, this judgment, really, we have emotions. And so you got to understand that your emotions are really just the third part in the row. If you want to change your emotions, you got to change the part in between, and that's your judgment, the interpretation. Now, granted, this happens within the 1/10 of a second, and thinkingness as a field is a very difficult one to master, to harness. But there are ways. And meditation is one of them. Doing transmissions. This is what we practice here every day, like a gym. Energy training. Just like physical training. You can all learn this. No difference. Okay? So that's what I'm recommending for you guys here to focus on for this next week. Slow down. Go into this inner place of you basically speeding up your vibratory rate. And as you speed yourself up, guess what would happen with your perception of time? It will slow down. Everybody else around you will feel slower. Get that? Okay? So your vibratory rate needs to be sped up in order for you to gain time. And what are you going to do with this time? You can use this time to make better decisions, or to make decisions altogether. Because if you run around like a fire router and try to please others, or try to catch up, or try to be better, or try to be perfect, and get all caught up in your false self-performance, you don't have time to think about whether this is true to you, whether this is like representing your true values, your integrity, whether you're actually selling your soul for, whatever, just to avoid confrontations. Most of you guys are codependents or have codependent tendencies. You're going to have to watch out this next week, but it's going to be so clear as day for you. You're going to see this so clearly. And I want you to laugh about yourself. I want you to to focus on getting yourself out of the way. And the best way to do this, besides, of course, learning the techniques and so forth that can allow you to feel that you actually have a choice, is to not take yourself too seriously. Seriousness is an indulgence of the ego, guys. It's a shadow trait. Let me read some of your comments here. I've promised I'd keep it simple. Cool. Yes, you've tried this. Slowing down works. But the ego doesn't like it. That's correct. So it goes into resistance with it. And it takes practice. Yes, we have to accept that it's a process, not an event. In other words, we have to accept that there are times where things are not reconcilable. So next week on this worldly level, things won't feel reconcilable. And you won't be able to come to this quote-unquote best solution, okay? All you can do is call a shot and go for it. You will evolve, you will grow through the feedback that you get, through the corrections that you have to make, and through facing it. So avoiding confrontation is not the way through this. Seeking confrontation is not the way through this either. Go into this place and say, okay, I recognize there are some things that I can't resolve, or some things that don't have an ideal solution, like all these ethical questions. You see, it's these ethics tests they do in human resources, where you given two choices. You can either save the grandmother or the child, okay? It's stuff like that. Those are choices that are based on only having two choices, on duality. And I'm telling you guys that you all have the ability, especially if you're empath and energetically sensitive, you already bring the technology with you. You just have to learn how to use that skill. You can find the third option, the third solution. And for that, you're going to have to get yourself out of the way. You're going to have to get out of your mind. And you're going to have to slow down and go into recovery. So this week is a week of recovery. Keep it simple. Go sleep a lot, not to escape things. Go into this place where you realize that if you don't function right physically, energetically, your emotions are going to be off, your body's going to be off, your relationships are going to be off, your work's going to be off. May is going to be a cool month for you guys to make some really, really cool progress with your work, with your money situation. So collectively, the next week, we're going to see a lot of that deconstruction of these, especially in the financial sector. So the crypto fans, don't yet go into your rocket to the moon. It's going to take a little while here, but we're getting there. We're trampolining way up. Those of you who are interested in understanding some of this war of beliefs, the war of churches that I mentioned last week, read up a little on your history. That can help you to understand things a little better. And you'll see there is no solution. The only solution really is the global awakening of people. And perhaps this has to come through a larger tragic event. Okay, so I'm saying this like as if, it's like baking bread. But sometimes it is that way. It's in the nature of the ego, in us, in the nature of us humans, in our human condition, to not wanting to change until the pain of staying where we're at becomes so greater than the fear of changing. And that's why the ego will resist, will kick and scream till the end, guys. So you are the ones that can change that. And I've already delivered you some of these benchmarks here, some of these tips on how to do this. Physically, next week, I recommend you guys to work with water, work with mud, work with chamomile. Those are good agents, healing agents. And if you have a tendency for migraines and headaches, brace yourself. You're going to have some next week. In the energy tips, I'm going to explain why, how this is linked with our energy centers and so forth. So take it easy. Maybe adjust your expectations. And as always, I have a giveaway for you to get a taste of what it's like to work with your energy, to have all these experience this firsthand and not just through what other people say. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to experience the message that I'm sending out here. And so I'm giving away tickets for ongoing energy sessions. Those are live energy sessions. And this one is for Saturday evening here in Florida. That would be during the day and Sunday in Europe, and later in the evening in Australia. So grace integrity is one of our most effective energy work modality. It's actually the one that I started doing transmissions with. And I'm giving away 2 tickets, and all you got to do is type in, I am Grace, nothing more, nothing less. What does this mean? You're identifying yourself with your higher power within. And it allows you to overcome and to out-vibrate the externalization that your ego does. That is in all our human sort of predisposition. So let go of that. Experience grace, experience divinity from within. And don't be afraid of what comes forward when you do. This is the beauty of the session. This is very soft. It's a very feminine, very lovely healing energy that comes in through this. Anyone who's ever worked with grace integrity before has had wonderful experiences. All right, so this concludes the energy update for week 18. Guys, if you have any questions that you would like to ask, anything that you would like to share with others, please continue sharing here, writing in the comments. I'll get to you. I know you are Grace. You are all Grace. Woo, and we have our first winner of the tickets. I don't want to be a stickler, but please, if you want to win the ticket, finish the sentence. Okay? A lot of you are on the way of getting it, so after the live stream, I have to hurry now to record the energy tips for the Heart Warriors and for the Patreon supporters, and then I'll get back to you and see who won these 2 tickets. Thank you so much, guys. Pay attention to my YouTube channel. There is a series of what I call concepts for empaths that I'm filling up. It's a total of 96 sort of 5 to 10 minute videos. And yes, it's keeping me busy. Thank you all for your support. Please like this video. Please share. Okay. And I hope to see you next week.